The most successful season ever for the North Summit girls soccer team. We talked to a few players as their season comes to a close. Also, a look into what Wasatch needs to pull off for a playoff push. It's all coming up right now on the Scoreboard. If you take the last 7 years before this season for the North Summit girls soccer team, you'll see that they have only won 7 games over the course of that time. But if you just take this season into account, they've got just 1 less with 6. This North Summit girls soccer team is continuing to grow at a very fast pace, and this season has shown all of that and a whole lot more. I sit down with a couple of the seniors over at North Summit girls soccer. Hey everyone, right now we are joined by Jenna Larson and Morgan Orgel after a big time win tonight for the North Summit Braves. How you guys feeling?
Awesome, it's awesome.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful game, and you get the win here tonight. It's your last game here in Colville. How does it make you feel to finally, or to get a win here at home?
It was a great end, a good last home game. I'm gonna miss it, but it was awesome.
It felt pretty good. We were all pretty pumped up about it, so ended good.
Yeah, how tough was Gunnison Valley as an opponent?
They certainly improved a lot from the first game, so it was. I think we didn't expect it as much, but I think we, rose to the challenge and we did good.
Yeah, the first time it was their first game, so no one really knew what to expect. But this time they definitely rose up, and it was kind of harder, way harder this time to take the win.
What were some of the difficult things? What were some of the adjustments that they had made in the game compared to the first time you guys played them?
I feel like they had a different defense line because their defense was so much harder to get past this game. So.
Did you notice anything, Jenna?
They just had better passes. They were first 2, so they've definitely improved a lot.
This team is full of talent. I mean, the roster, there's a few seniors, but there's a lot of younger talent on this team. What do you think the future of this program is going to look like in a couple of years, considering how well you've been doing this year?
I think it's going to grow so much. I think that our underclassmen are amazing. They're like half our varsity, so we're certainly going to just keep breaking records and getting better.
Yeah.
I think we're going to seriously kick some butt in the future. We have some really good freshmen and younger classmen that kick butt and do good for our team. So.
What has it been like seeing this program grow over the years? Every year it seems like this team is getting better, and this year's the best you've had yet. So what has it been like over the years seeing every single year this team get better?
Last year was my first year playing soccer for our team, so it was still really cool to see just the improvement from last year to this, but Mo definitely has seen it grow a lot more than I have.
Yeah, my first year we didn't win any games, and so this year to be able to win now 6, it feels awesome.
Yeah, I mean, 6 wins this season. I think combined over the last 6 to 7 years, you've only had 6 wins. And so it's a pretty unbelievable feat what you've been able to do this year. In terms of looking forward to the season, I know you only have 1 game left in the regular season. What are you looking forward to as the season comes to a close?
Just work. Tomorrow I hope we work together as a team, do good passing, communicate. We kind of struggled on that tonight, so I hope we do better at that tomorrow and kick some butt.
Yeah. What about you, Jenna?
I just hope we work better as a team and just have a great game tomorrow.
Yeah. This team is really exciting. Who are some of the younger names, the freshmen, the sophomores, that you're really looking forward to in the next couple of years? I'll go here and then I'll come back over.
Definitely Lorelai Tippett. She's our defender. She's number 3, and she's amazing. She's just a speedy little sucker, and she is always first 2.
Probably Maddie Kay, Addie Peterson. They are so good, and they're just sophomores, and so they hold our team pretty good together to starting varsity. So.
Yeah, can you talk to us a little bit about Addie Peterson? She had a big-time goal here in the second half as well as you, Morgan. And so I just wanted to see what you guys saw on the field when they got those goals.
It was awesome to see. She's been wanting a goal for so bad for the past few games, and I'm so glad she finally got it in this one. She's got great kicks, and she's going to do awesome.
Morgan, can you talk to us a little bit about your goal that you had?
I just kind of kicked it in. It wasn't really a pass or anything, and so yeah, and it bounced off Zoe. Kudos to Zoe. So it was a 2-in-1 goal. So.
As it is your last couple of days and weeks as soccer players here for North Summit, what's the number one thing both of you are going to miss?
Oh, definitely just the team. We're such a family. I have loved getting so close to all these girls, and they're such amazing teammates. And I'm definitely going to miss them all so much.
Yeah, what about you, Morgan?
Mine's probably the team too. Before the game, we were all crying in a circle because it's our last home game. So the team is a huge, big old family, and so we all love each other. It's great.
Well, it's a wonderful team. We can't wait to continue to cover it as the season comes to a close here. Thank you both so much for the time. We really appreciate it. Hey everyone, right now we are joined by Hannah Dudley following her last game here in Colville. And Hannah, how are you feeling right now after hearing that?
I'm kind of nervous, kind of sad because what's coming next after high school, but I really love this team and this girls, so I'm really kind of sad to leave them.
Oh, I mean, it's super sad. Really quick, what are some of your college plans? What are you planning to do after high school?
I hopefully want to go to a tech college to get my vet tech degree, and then I want to go on to get my doctorate of veterinary medicine.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's get back to the game here today. You get the win over Gunnison Valley, and how does that make you feel knowing you beat them 3-0? You've had a pretty solid season.
It feels pretty good. I remember my first year of soccer. We won absolutely nothing. It was pretty much mercy rules every game. And then my sophomore year, we won, I think, 1 or 2 games. But this year, just coming in with a bunch of new girls on the new team and just being able to like break records and do things that we weren't able to do previously has been a really awesome experience. And it really makes me excited to see what these girls are going to do next with the upcoming freshmen and things that are going to join soccer.
You basically just talked about a little bit about every single thing I want to ask you about. I mean, this team has had an unbelievable season, the best in a very long time, maybe ever. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, and so from as far as we could pull back the records, you've never won 6 games. You've not even come close. I think last year you won 3. The year before that, I think you won 1 or 2. And then before that, it was 0 wins for many, many years. And so it goes to show where this program is going. How do you feel like you've seen soccer grow here in Colville and at North Summit specifically?
I feel like at first it started, nobody really knew what it was because it only started a couple years before I was a freshman. And I think just because more girls have invited other girls and shown them what fun this sport can be and the way it can be such a good team and the way it can lift you and grow, I feel like that's what's made it grow so much and what's made girls be committed to stay. And I feel like as it grows, it's going to become that. Because we have like some really well-established sports like volleyball, basketball that have been around for forever. And I'm really hoping that coming into the future, we're going to see that with soccer and start seeing like the trophies and things in the cases. So that's what I'm hoping to see, but honestly, I don't know. Yeah. But I'm hoping these girls like that are the underclassmen are going to keep that growth going and that positiveness and just be able to invite more girls and be able to grow the sport of soccer at North Summit.
What has the chemistry of the team been like? I just talked to a couple of other captains on the team, a couple other seniors, and they were talking about the chemistry and how much they're going to miss it. And they were even crying before the game had even started. What's this team been like? What has it been like growing with them? And also, how much do you all get along, I guess I should say?
Well, we really get along really great. It's kind of like having a bunch more sisters. Yeah. A lot of these girls were on the team last year when I wasn't a part of the team. So I kind of first, when I joined again this year, coming back to soccer as a senior, I was kind of actually nervous at first, thinking, oh shoot, like what's going to happen? I don't know a lot of these girls, but they were like really inviting actually. And it's become kind of like a family. Like it's been really good. We have screaming song sessions on the bus. It's just having a bunch of best friends, people you see in the hallway, people you always know you have to talk to or if you need help. So it's more than just a team on the field. It is like a family on and off the field, and they've always got your back. Yeah. So.
Like you were saying, your freshman year and your sophomore year you played, you took off your junior year and then you come back your senior season. What made you come back for your senior season?
So junior year, just because I had some personal issues, I decided, I need a break. But after I came to a couple soccer games and I realized how much I loved soccer and how much it was a part of me. And I realized senior year I had to come back. It's the only sport that I've found that I truly love, which is something really great because for me it's really hard to find things I enjoy. And so coming back as a senior, it just was the right thing for me because it's a part of me and it feels like home.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about the team and it being kind of your last game. What does it feel like that it now is not your last game, but your last home game. You've got one game left in the regular season, and it's all kind of culminated into this incredible season that you've had. What are your kind of final thoughts or your final impressions of playing on a team that you love, a sport that you just mentioned that you love? What has it been like just culminating that all together in the last 4 years?
Honestly, I'm just super grateful that I had this opportunity, that I have coaches and girls who are willing to play, and I'm more so excited for what they'll do. And I really want to come back and watch them play. And for me, it's kind of this nervous, excited feeling. I'm going to miss this field for forever. I'm going to always probably wish that I was up here playing every time I come back. But being on this field and playing that last game, it was just this feeling of like completion almost. Like it feels right, and I feel like I've done my best these last few years, and I feel like I've been a part of the team, and I'm glad we've been there for each other. And really, it's just, this feeling of like closure almost.
Yeah. And so last question from me, what's the number one moment? What's the best thing that happened to you in your soccer career here at North Summit over the years?
For me, honestly, even whether I'm benched a game or I'm out on just that feeling when we win, even if I personally have never made a goal because I'm usually mid or just in the back. But being able to know that like my pass or something helped, like that feeling of joy that we did it together as a team, that's probably the best feeling and the best moments in this game for me.
Well, you absolutely did that today here, 3-0, and you had some incredible passes, some incredible defensive plays, and all sorts of stuff. Thank you so much for the time, and good luck in the future as well. We can't wait to hear from what you do in the future as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. Last update before we hit the ground running with playoffs. It is your Week 9 update, and we start things off as always with the Park City Miners. Following the loss to Brighton on Friday night, the Miners sit third in Region 6 with a 6-2 overall record. The Miners close the regular season on Friday night at Dozier Field, where so far they have been undefeated this season at 4-0. They take on 4-4 Skyline. Now Skyline is fourth in region with a dominant offense averaging north of 31 points per game. Park City, on the other hand, is the number one secondary in their region, allowing only 15 points per game against their stellar defense, who has stepped up in a big way this season.
I think definitely Chandler Kelsch, but he's always been a baller, and then also Mason Christensen, especially today, because he was just he was secondary behind Miles at corner, and then Miles got switched to offense, and Mason had to step up to a plate as a junior, and he hasn't really seen the field a lot, and to face one of the the best team in 5A in our region and be able to stop throws against him and all that stuff is just blows my mind.
And then when the younger guys got in, they kept it up as well, As you can see, it's a shutout. We kept points up, so props to them.
All right, next we have Wasatch, who closes out the regular season on the road against Provo on Friday night, and it is going to be an offensive showcase between two of the top three offenses in all of Region 9. Wasatch averaging 35 points per game. Meanwhile, Provo averages 31 points per game, holding their opposition as well to an average of 21 points per game. It will be a fascinating matchup to see if Wasatch can hold on to that number 3 spot in a very competitive Region 9.
And if it weren't for a couple of inopportune turnovers, they would have felt really strong and beating. Well, Springville, guess what? This morning, RPI, number 1 in the state. And so that is the theme. Like we said, it's just Region 9 is tough. So the main thing with them is I just spoke with Coach Coburn just a few minutes ago, and interestingly, the RPI has changed this last year on the parameters. So the idea is, before it used to be who you played against, their record, and what division they were in. You would get more points if you played against them, and what their record is, and against what record teams they play. It used to be a little more complicated. Well, they kind of trimmed that down, and now it's only your record and your opponent's record, which is still pretty strong. And so Coach Coburn's philosophy the last couple seasons has been to play a really, really tough preseason against 6A schools bigger than their own. And yes, it's paid off with the kids and made them tough and great learning situations, This year it's hurt them just a little bit with the record, and thus it's hurt them with the RPI. And now they're in danger of even making postseason.
All right, next up we've got the North Summit Braves, who just got a win over a big-time favorite against Gunnison Valley. And actually, right now they seem to be peaking at the perfect time with just 2 games left in the regular season.
With Adrian and Brendan getting hurt, a lot of kids have had to step up. Like, a lot of underclassmen. Like Daxton Sargent, he stepped up when Adrian got hurt. And he played really good. Him and Caden Dudley were switching in, and they had awesome blocks. And overall, the health's pretty good of the team. I think everyone's staying pretty healthy, no injuries after Gunson. So I think the team's doing pretty well overall.
And lastly, the South Summit Wildcats, 8-0 so far, continuing to prove why they are one of the top teams in the entire state, and a whole lot more to prove as they take on Judge Memorial on Friday night at home. We will be at that game. Judge Memorial gives up 27 points per game. Meanwhile, the South Summit Wildcats average nearly 40 points per game. And last year, the Wildcats took home the victory 49-0 and currently are tied for first in all of 2A. The only other unbeaten team is San Juan, but this team continues to take things one game at a time.
We're not ready to look for the playoffs yet. I mean, obviously we know that's looming and that's the end goal eventually, but we've got to get through 3 decent games coming up, right? I mean, how often do you see teams that say, oh, well, we've got this, no problem, and then get beat, right? We don't want to do that. We're focusing. We're ready for ALA next week. We're going to work hard this week, and then come out. If we can handle business, we'll move from there.
Not really, I'm just focusing on next game, one game at a time. ALA, that's what I'm looking forward to.
One game at a time, 7-0 right now. Do you think you get that undefeated record going into the playoffs?
100%. You know, we got dudes. We can make adjustments as needed. We're just a heck of a team.
It is the final week of regular season for the 5A schools. One more week for North Summit and South Summit before the state tournaments, which are just around the corner. We cannot wait for playoff football to be here in just a couple of weeks. The Wasatch Wasps are on the brink of playoff contention or not making the playoffs at all. It is a very big game tonight in Provo, and Brent Martindale talked to Coach Coburn a little bit about what this game means to him and the entire team earlier this week.
We're with Steve Coburn, the head football coach at Wasatch High School. Coach, thanks for taking a minute. We're going to talk a little bit about the games, last week's game and then upcoming games. But the situation with your team right now, with a week left of regular season, definitely lots of hopes for postseason play.
You betcha. And you know, we've talked about the last 3 weeks that each game is a playoff game for us, and we put a good game together against Maple Mountain and then fell a little bit short against Springville. But each week is for us a chance to get in the playoffs, and I just tell them we just got to get into the playoffs, and it's a whole new season, and we're doing things right now to prepare for that, for them physically and mentally as well. We just got to get into that second season.
The team seems to be upbeat. A couple, like you mentioned, a couple of tough losses. Let's talk about Spanish Fork last week. Spanish Fork was ranked pretty high RPI. I was a little surprised, but wow, they looked like that high of a ranked team. How do you explain some of the things they're doing?
Yeah, Coach Smith's done a good job there. He's changed their offense around a little bit. We played them 3 years ago. This is the third year that he's been head coach, and we handled them pretty well. And then he made some adjustments and some changes, and they've got a good system going there offensively and defensively. And I've just watched his coaching staff get better each year. They've turned into a tough matchup for us with their size up front. But, it was a game for us that obviously we go into every game expecting to win, and we didn't get it done last week. But last year we were in the same boat. We lost to Springville, went down and threw 6 interceptions against Spanish Fork last year, and then we came back and made some adjustments like we always do, and came back and beat Provo last year. So we're in that same boat, and we're working hard today and this week to right the ship and get after Provo.
What are some of the things that you're doing with your team this week that you might have learned from maybe mistakes or tough goes like that. What are you working on this week?
Yeah, we're working with, which is always a emphasis for us in eliminating the turnovers. And we can't go in the first series and throw an interception deep in our own end zone, and then we can't throw a pick six later in the game when we come out. We've got to be able to control those. And so Mac is going through some growing pains right now, and he's trying to make things happen, and sometimes it doesn't work out the way that we had it planned, but we got to control that. And so I talked to the team yesterday that we have to win the turnover battle. We need to get some takeaways on defense, and Provo, the next game coming up is prone to doing that, and we got to limit our giveaways, and so that ratio's got to be better for us.
What are some highlights of the team, even against a tough loss like Spanish Fork? What are some highlights that you're still trying to point out to the guys?
Yeah, we're still getting better up front on the offensive line. Our receivers are still doing a good job. We didn't get the big plays like we're used to getting against Spanish Fork last week, but we're continuing to play well there. And our linebacker core is continuing to get better defensively. And I still like, special teams wise, we're a big special teams program, and Ashton and Fisher are getting better. We got another onside kick last week against Spanish Fork, and we continue to get better at those things as well.
And when teams are up a few touchdowns on you and still kicking away from JoJo, right. That's saying a lot about what he's doing. What type of things have you done for to build success with that? For example, the kickoff returns.
Yeah, we made some changes back there. Again, JoJo's getting the ball more. And now what we'll do is we'll stack Caden and JoJo and then have them separate later, and so JoJo still goes and gets the ball. So we've worked hard on that. But special teams is a big part of what I like our program to be known for. So we put a lot of time in. We got Coach Hader, who's our special teams coordinator, and that's all he does, and he's focused on that 24/7, and that's making us better. And our kids buy into the opportunity to be out there and play on special teams.
So looking ahead, a big game at Provo Friday night. Implications are you got to win to have the shot to get into state. How do you talk to the guys about that? Is it too much pressure if you say it that way, or how do high school boys react to that these days?
Well, we've talked, like I said, we talked about it for 3 weeks. Right. Okay. Each week is, and our mantra is up on the one. So we just focus on the one game, and so this week we're focused on the pro game. But they all know that it's a playoff game, and in order for us to get into the playoffs, we got to take care of business. And anyway, for getting to play us with our own control. Otherwise, it's up to somebody else to make a decision for us. And so we put that on them, but we also say this game's important because of what we've done in the past. And so it's not any more pressure than it is before, because it's just this one game that we're worried about right now. Not what we've done in the past, not what we have in the future, but that they're all tied together, but we focus on the one right now.
Let's talk about Provo. What are you looking at? They're always tough. You're going to their place. What type of things are you looking at to control on their side of the ball and their defense?
Right. So again, offensively they're very big up front. They don't do a lot. They're kind of like us. They minimize their scheme and do it well, and that's what Coach Chambers has done with their offense. The Harwood kid, number 2, is a 4-year starter, senior this year. The Condi kid is a 2-year starter at quarterback. They got big offensive linemen, so they're to be reckoned with. And defensively, again, they keep it very simple, but they play very aggressive. And so our margin of error is very slim. We have to do things almost perfect in order for it to go our way. So that's what we're working on today. Is if we strive for perfection, someplace in we'll hit excellence. So that's what we're working on.
Here at the practice field with Steve Coburn of Wasatch High School football. Thanks for taking a minute, Coach.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you so much for watching. On Tuesday, we've got a very special episode. We're going to be talking to South Summit as they hopefully remain 9-0 going into the final week of their regular season for 2A football. We also get the opportunity to talk to Park City Hockey as they are the 3-time defending state champions with a whole lot of new faces to look forward to. For Brent Martindale, I am Blake O'Rourke, and we will see you all on Tuesday.